I have always been drawn to the edges of the map, to places that whisper of a different way of life. For years Mongolia called to me, a land of vast, open spaces under an endless blue sky. I longed to experience a world in harmony with the earth, moving with the seasons, as ancestors had for centuries. This wasn't just about adventure, it was a search for something real, away from the noise of modern life. I wanted to understand what life was like when you stripped away everything we think we need. So, I decided I would travel to Central Asia to live with a nomadic family, not as a tourist, but as a guest. I packed warm clothes, a sturdy camera, and an open heart, knowing this journey would challenge and change me. My journey began with a long flight, then a bumpy ride in an old Russian van. Ulaanbaatar faded behind us, replaced by rolling green hills that stretched on forever. The paved roads and power lines vanished, leaving only land and sky. I felt a freedom I'd never known before, daunted by the emptiness, but awed by its beauty. After hours across the trackless plains, I saw them, a cluster of white gers, smoke curling from their chimneys, herds grazing nearby. This was the place I'd dreamed of. My heart pounded with excitement and nerves. I was about to meet the family who would share their home and lives with me. I took a deep breath, stepped out of the van, and walked toward my new, temporary life under the vast Mongolian sky. The air was crisp, scented with wild herbs and dry earth. As I approached the gers, Batbayar, the family's head, greeted me with a warm smile and a handshake. He wore a traditional deal, his face weathered by sun and wind. Though we shared no common language, his hospitality was unmistakable. Inside, his wife Solongo welcomed me with a steaming bowl of sute tsai, salted milk tea. Children played outside, their laughter echoing across the plains while horses and yaks roamed freely. The landscape was immense, making me feel small in the best way. Here, life was about the sky, the land, the animals and family. The ger was a marvel. Wooden frame, felt layers, everything in its place, ready to move with the seasons. That evening, we sat around the stove, sharing mutton stew and bread, communicating through smiles and gestures. Despite the language barrier, I felt an immediate connection. As darkness fell, the stars emerged, brighter than I'd ever seen. I stepped outside, looking up, feeling a profound sense of peace and belonging. My days began before sunrise, Batbayar already outside checking the animals. Solongo prepared tea and milked the yaks, her hands moving with practiced grace. I learned to help, my clumsy attempts at milking causing laughter. The animals were everything: food, transport, income. After breakfast, Batbayar and his son rode out to herd sheep and goats. I joined them, riding across the open steppe. The work was hard but deeply satisfying, a partnership with the land. Back at the ger, Solongo and the women turned milk into cheese, yogurt, and airag. Nothing was wasted. Every drop had a purpose. When pastures thinned, Batbayar decided it was time to move. In hours, the ger was dismantled, loaded onto a truck, and we traveled to a new valley. By evening, the ger stood again, smoke rising from its chimney, as if it had always been there. Living in the ger taught me about true community. With no separate rooms, life was shared. Work, meals, sleep, laughter, and even disagreements. The circular space fostered closeness and patience. Arguments faded quickly in such intimacy. The ger's design held wisdom. No corners, just flow, like the seasons and the cycles of life. The tuno, the central opening, was a window to the sky, a reminder of our place in the universe. At night, I'd lie in bed and watch the stars, feeling part of something vast. Happiness here wasn't about possessions. The family's wealth was in their animals, freedom, and each other. The children played with stones and sticks, their laughter richer than any toy. Their resilience was remarkable, facing harsh winters, storms, and scarcity with calm strength. They adapted, worked together, and trusted in their ability to survive. This resilience wasn't taught in books, it was learned from the land itself. The silence of the steppe was profound, at first unsettling, then deeply soothing. Without constant noise, I began to notice the wind, the cry of an eagle, my own heartbeat. My mind quieted. I became present. Time here was fluid, measured by sun and seasons, not by clocks or deadlines. Tasks took as long as needed. If a neighbor stopped by, work could wait. Wealth was measured in relationships, healthy livestock, and freedom, not money. Batbayer was respected for his wisdom and generosity, not material possessions. The greatest lesson was about our connection to nature. For the nomads, there is no separation. They are part of the land, living in balance with it. They take only what they need and are grateful for what the earth provides. This deep connection is something many of us have lost and desperately need to rediscover. From the start, I was welcomed not as a guest, but as family. Solongo made sure I had the warmest spot by the stove. Batbayer patiently taught me the ways of the steppe. Their generosity was instinctive, a cornerstone of their culture. When a fierce windstorm hit, the family worked together calmly, turning fear into a moment of unity. Language was a barrier, but connection happened through shared work, laughter, and meals. One evening, Batbayer's youngest daughter sat beside me, comparing her small hand to mine, a silent gesture of trust. When it was time to leave, the family gathered to say goodbye. Solongo pressed dried cheese into my hands. Batbayer called me brother. I arrived a stranger, but left as family, carrying a gift more valuable than any souvenir, a place in their hearts. The journey back to the city felt like traveling through time. The silence of the steppe was replaced by the noise of traffic, but I was not the same person. Mongolia had changed my understanding of happiness, success, and what it means to be human. I learned that joy is found in small, everyday moments. A cup of tea, a shared laugh, a sunset. The nomad's strength came from unity and connection, not individual achievement. Back home, I noticed the simple wonders around me. Morning coffee, a kind word, the sun on my face. The most powerful lesson was the importance of family and community. My journey was more than a trip, it was a pilgrimage to a more meaningful way of being. You don't need to travel to Mongolia to find these truths. They're all around us, waiting to be noticed. Cherish the small moments, nurture your connections, and be grateful for what you have. In these simple truths, we find our deepest happiness.